Hello there, everyone. This is going to be my first video where you'll see me actually talking, meaning there's going to be no more low quality re-uploads. Now, from this point onwards, I'm going to upload my creations, which, as you can see, there's a lot. Yeah, after the one that says resilience, vocabulary, and those other ones, yeah, those are something from my middle school. So just ignore those. But and but this is gonna all those other ones that you see, those are my creations. As okay, as you should know this. This is gonna be one of the very few times where you'll ever hear my voice because I feel rather shy to talk on YouTube. It's a fantastic site, yet I feel kind of shy to express my real voice to people. So most of the time, it's just going to be a text to speech voice narrating. But since this is the my first act proper uploads since that Canva slideshow, I think I should make it change. Not change. I should give an exception. And I'll be narrating a preview slash sneak peek of one of my projects. And as you can see, some of them are unfinished. Not as you can see, well, some of them are unfinished, yet each project is worked on concurrently, meaning I go back and forth between each one to make sure each upload gets to each upload gets in on time for the weekends. So yeah, without further ado, let I'm going to be previewing one unfinished project, which is this one. South America, The Lost World. Just note that some of these have draft names also. But without further ado, let's go. South America, The Lost World. Introduction. Evolutionary isolationism refers to a situation where a group of organisms, such as a species or population, becomes separated from other populations, the same species or from other species. This separation prevents interbreeding and gene flow between them, leading to the development of distinct traits and adaptations over time. This isolation can be caused by great geographic barriers like oceans or mountains, behavioral differences, or other factors that limit contact, leading to the organisms evolving separately from each other. Australia is home to wildlife like koala bears, wombats, kangaroos, large monitor lizards, and emu birds. And the island of Madagascar is home to lemurs and bosses and vegetation like the baobab tree. These flora and wildlife have one thing in common as they are products of evolutionary isolationism. Wildlife and flora like these aren't found anywhere else in the wild in any parts of the world. And if the Great American Interchange and the formation of the Isthmus of Panama never occurred, a series of evolutionary isolationism could have occurred in South America, turning it into a time capsule, a real life lost world. South America's isolation began after the breakup of the supercontinent known as Pangaea, which occurred during Mesozoic era around 200 million years ago during the Triassic period. The continent gradually drifted away from Africa 140 million years ago in the early Cretaceous period. And by the Cretaceous period, 145 million to 65 million years ago, the remnants of Pangaea, Gondwana, and Laurasia began to split up into other parts of the world, 7 continents, as the Atlantic Ocean began to open up. 65 million years ago, the KBG mass extinction event, the Cretaceous Paleogene mass extinction event, killed the last non-avian dinosaurs, pterosaurs, prehistoric marine reptiles, and 70% of three-quarters of all plant and animal life was killed off. Yet even long after the end of the dinosaur era, which had lasted for 150 million years, starting from 245 million to 230 million years ago, in the late Triassic period, till the KPG mass extinction event 65 million years ago, to the Cenozoic era, South America was still isolated from the other continents. 3 million years ago, the Isthmus of Panama formed, connecting North and South America, thus forming the Great American Interchange. The result exchange led to significant changes in the ecosystems of both continents, with animals moving in both directions. However, things took more of a one-way turn for South America as North America. Megafauna like predators like the Smilodon or saber-toothed cats and direwolves outcompeted and caused the extinction of South American wildlife like the terror-birds or Forus raucus. Yet if the Isthmus of Panama, the climate in Western Europe and Mediterranean Europe would be drastically different in an alternate universe. Without the Isthmus of Panama, the climate of Western Europe and in the Mediterranean would be drastically different. The Gulf Stream, which brings warm water from the tropics to North Atlantic, could be weaker or even non-existent, leading to much colder temperatures in Europe. This would result in much more continental climate, with harsher winters, cooler summers. The Mediterranean region, typically mild and moist, might experience drier conditions with more extreme seasonal variations, affecting agriculture and overall climate patterns. Additionally, atmospheric circulation patterns would shift, further altering precipitation and temperature across Europe. Yet in this what-if alternate universe timeline, the climate of Western Europe and the Mediterranean remained unchanged despite the Isthmus of Panama never existing. Other ocean currents or atmospheric systems might adapt to compensate for the disruption of the Gulf Stream. The AMOC, Atlantic Meridional Overturn Circulation, could shift its flow or other currents that might adjust to maintain warmth in the region. So in this alternate timeline, things would be similar but with a twist. Humans migrated into the Americas through the Bering Strait between Russia and Alaska 12,000 years ago, and the migrations of the indigenous Native Americans would have ended in Mesoamerica, which comprises the lands of central southern Mexico, all of Belize, Guatemala, El Salvador, parts of Honduras, Nicaragua, and Costa Rica. The southernmost Native American peoples would have been the Olmec civilization and Toltec peoples, and later on the Aztec Empire and the Mayan city-states. In fact, here without the Isthmus of Panama, there would have been no historical indigenous population in South America, and the Mayans and Aztecs would have no idea that just as large continent lies just south of their homeland, just south across a relatively shallow and relatively small sea, thus leading to Neogene and Pleistocene wildlife like Toxodon, Glyptodon, Megatherium, also known as the round-soft marsupials, monkeys, Argentavis, Forus raucus, also known as pteropodons, to thrive and survive, thus making South America a prehistoric capsule trapped in time in a real-life lost world. In the year 1006 CE, during the Viking Age, from 800 CE to 1066 CE, during the medieval period, when Norsemen, a North Germanic linguistic people, also known as the Vikings, all undertook a large-scale raiding, colonizing, conquest, and trade throughout Europe. The Viking Age applies not only to their homeland of the Scandinavian peninsula, but also to any place significantly settled by Scandinavians during the period. Scandinavians of the Viking era are also referred to as Vikings, as well as Norsemen, although few of them were Vikings in the sense being engaged in actual piracy. 1006 CE, Leif Erikson, also called Leif the Lucky, was a Norse explorer. Leif the Lucky and his ship were caught in a severe thunderstorm at sea on a voyage from Norway to Greenland. Leif and the other Vikings on board were set off course to what is now known as Newfoundland and Labrador, Canada, where they set up a settlement called Vinland. Leif encountered the Skrellings, however the hell you say it, which refers to the indigenous people in the region, who who might have been tribes of the Inuit or Beothuk people. I don't know how you say that. The encounter between the Norse and Skrellings was hostile, leading to conflicts. In one notable instance, the Norse settlers tried to trade with indigenous people, but were met with aggression, including attacks with bows and arrows. In retaliation, the Norse reportedly defended themselves, and there were skirmishes. After these confrontations, the Norse abandoned their settlement in Vinland and returned to the Scandinavian peninsula. It was over 426 years after the Viking era had long ended. It was October of 1492, the beginning of the voyages of Spanish navigator and explorer Christopher Columbus. Columbus was finding a shorter voyage to the East Indies and China, and Columbus unknowingly landed in the Bahamas in Central America. And originally at the time, Columbus on his first voyage thought he landed on an island in the Pacific Ocean south, not too far from the Japanese islands, only to realize he discovered a whole new continent. On Columbus's second voyage, from 1493 to 1496, landed in Hispaniola and set up overseas settlements and outposts for the Spanish royal crown, and from 1493 to 1620, in the Age of Discovery, Western European powers like Great Britain, the Kingdom of France, the Spanish Empire, the Portuguese Empire, the Dutch Republic sailed to North America and founded colonies, engaging in warfare with each other for various native peoples. And on Christopher Columbus's third voyage, oh crap, I made a mistake there. Excuse me there. To 1500s, Columbus sailed to the Caribbean in Hispaniola and briefly stopped at Trinidad, and afterwards briefly explored northern South America, specifically what would become what will later become Venezuela. Here, Christopher Columbus and Spanish soldiers and explorers known as the conquistadors come face to face in Eugene and Pleistocene epoch megafauna like the terror birds. And such tales and stories would return to Europe, given its continent a mythical status. In our timeline, originally during the Age of Exploration, since North America was called Pariah, South America was simply called America. Since the continents weren't connected, these names were kept. For the Spaniards in Pariah, the Spanish conquest of the Aztec Empire from February of 1519 to August 13th, 1521, result in the Aztec Empire conquered by the Spanish and in the Spanish indigenous allied victory, and a Spanish presence will be established in Mexico, parts of Central America, as well as Hispaniola, Caribbean islands. In this alternate universe, major ports and cities will be established at the tip of this Central American peninsula, which are not only great strategic points, but also staging grounds to colonize South America. South America, the Lost World, is of the Lost World subgenre. The Lost World subgenre is a subgenre of the fantasy or science fiction genres that involves the discovery of an unknown Earth civilization. Began as a subgenre of the late Victorian adventure romance and remains popular into the 21st century. South America, The Lost World, is named after The Lost World, a 1912 280-page science fiction slash action slash adventure novelization written by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. South America, The Lost World is a speculative fiction slash action slash adventure slash alternate history novel. The Spanish and Portuguese conquistadors sailed to South America to establish permanent colonies in overseas territories of their mother countries, only to encounter beasts like the forest racas. The conquistadors are armed with muskets, daggers, bayonet rifles, lances, pikes, habits, and attack dogs. But could a Spaniard conquistador stand a chance against the wrath of the terror birds? Yeah, that's pretty much the introduction. Quite unique. My source of inspiration was from a YouTuber named Alternate History Hub of a guy named Cody. He made a video called What If South America Was Never Connected? And that was my direct inspiration. I mean, seriously. Spanish conquistadors versus terror birds. That sounds unique. Well, I'm gonna, well, this is the end of the video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notifications so you never miss a new video. Even though I have an upload schedule, but you don't want to miss a new video because each video will be better than the last. I guarantee. Share this with your family, friends, and the world. So this video can be the most popular video on the internet. Maybe even on a maybe even on Times Square. Well, until next time. Later, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Happy New Year.